What's up, YouTube? This is FourthStarTCG, and today I'm going to be telling you guys how to submit cards to PSA. I get this question so often. I did a video on this in the past, but I figure I should update it as there have been some things that have changed. It's much simpler to do the submission online now, and yeah. So in order to talk about first submitting your cards to PSA, I'm going to talk about how to prepare your cards to submit to PSA, as this is usually something you want to do as soon as you get the cards out of the pack or something like that. So, for example, you're going to need something like this, just some very simple Ultra Pro card sleeves. You want these to be loose around the card. So here, let me grab just a regular hollow. Alright, so let's say, for the purposes of illustration, that I wanted to submit this Latios hollow right here. First thing you want to do, once you assume you get the card out of a pack or something maybe, you immediately want to put it into an Ultra Pro sleeve. Ultra Pro sleeves work very well for this. You want there to be some play. You don't want it to be a perfect fit sleeve. I have some KMC sleeves here, and I'll show you the fit on these. These perfect fit sleeves, they make it very difficult to get the card out of the sleeve. So I'll show you what the perfect fit looks like. Compared to, you see right there how there's very little, if any, space alongside, which makes it a lot more difficult. I wouldn't say it's harder to get out of the sleeve than one of these Ultra Pro sleeves. So you're going to want to put it in an Ultra Pro sleeve. These are called penny sleeves for a reason. They're very cheap, easy to buy. You can buy like a pack of, I want to say like 1,000 of them on Amazon for like $12 or something. Very cheap. Must for any collector. You want to put it in one of these Ultra Pro sleeves, not a perfect fit sleeve. And as soon as you have done that, you're going to want to put it in a Card Saver 1. I got a big thing of card savers here. I believe this came with about 100. So you can take one out. And this is a different type of card holder. You can see it here. This is what it looks like. They call it a semi-rigid holder. So it has two pieces of plastic right here, and it opens at the top. So I would slide the card into the card saver, push it down, make sure it's well centered inside the card saver. So there you go, and that is what you're going to need to do to prep the cards to submit to PSA. PSA doesn't accept cards that are submitted in top loaders like this. You cannot submit your cards to PSA in top loaders. They will not accept them. So do not submit them in top loaders. They must be submitted in card savers. They do not require you to have this penny sleeve on it, but I would highly recommend it, as it just makes it much easier to get the card out of the card saver, as PSA reviews all cards without any type of protection or anything like that. So PSA will be handling your raw card, but of course they're trained professionals. They know not to damage it or anything like that. So once your card has been placed in a card saver, you're all good, it's prepped, it's ready to go. The next thing you're going to want to do is decide how you're going to submit your cards to PSA. The main way that you can do this is, I'm just going to talk for a little bit here. The main way that you can do this is you can either submit via someone else through a grading service. Grading services that I would personally recommend, people run them on YouTube. You can contact Blastoise Rules 1 or Silver Snorlax 204. They both run very reputable grading services, and I would recommend them if you guys were looking to grade your cards and didn't want to purchase a PSA membership, which is the second way that you can go about grading your cards. If you purchase a PSA membership, you have one of two tiers that you can purchase. There is the, I think, gold tier, which is, I believe, $110 or $120 per year, and that gives you 6 free card grades, and it also gives you access to the PSA Collectors Club specials. Normally, to submit cards to PSA without a membership and not doing it through someone with a grading service, the lowest amount you can possibly pay is $18 per card, which is very expensive. And these Collectors Club specials often get prices down to maybe $6 to $7 per card. Of course, the turnaround time is usually about 50 business days with those specials, but you do get a much discounted rate per card. So, and that's for all PSA memberships, both the gold and the platinum. The only difference in them is the platinum membership, which I believe is about $200, so about $80 to $90 more. It gives you 15 free card grades as opposed to 6. Generally, I would say if you're looking to only grade, I'd say maybe 50 to 100 cards per year. I would recommend buying the PSA membership. If you're looking to grade less than 50 cards per year, I would recommend going out and finding someone with a grading service, as that would be more financially viable for you. However, the only thing to watch out for with grading services is that you are sending your cards off to someone, no matter how trustworthy they purport to be. Sometimes things do happen. I believe there was an incident with Must Be Pokemon where he was running a grading service and he eventually scammed everyone out of all the cards they sent to him. I highly doubt that would happen with the 2 grading services I mentioned, but it's always something you want to be aware of. With that grading service, you're also adding in shipping, both from you to the grader and then from the grader to PSA, from PSA back to the grader and then the grader back to you. So it's just doubling the ways that things could go wrong, and that's why I prefer myself to buy the PSA memberships. So that's the 2 ways you can go about deciding how you're going to grade your cards, either getting a PSA membership or by going through someone with a grading service. Now, you normally, if you're looking to get a PSA membership, there will be sort of the Collectors Club, as I said earlier. They will have limits, or usually they'll have card minimums that you'll need to submit. So that's why if you're going to be submitting a lot of cards, a membership is more financially viable. So after you've prepared all your cards, you've got your cards ready to submit. Here's a nice big stack that I'm going to be submitting soon. So after you've got your cards all ready to submit and you are ready to go and prepare your submission form. If you are doing this via a grading service, it's likely that the person who does the grading will complete the submission form for you, so you don't really need to worry about that. But you will need to complete the submission form. The best way to complete the submission form is online. So I'm going to stop this live video and I'm going to bring you guys over to my computer, and then I'm going to show you how to enter in the online submission. So here we are, guys. I'm on my computer and I'm going to show you how to fill out the PSA online submission form. This is the best way to submit your cards. It streamlines the process. It makes everything a lot easier. You don't have to write anything out on paper, and it makes it much easier for PSA to do so. So I'm here on the PSA website, just psacard.com. This is where you buy your memberships. This is where you do all of this stuff. So we are ready. Now I gotta find where the online submission center is. Alright, let's go to services right here, trading card grading. This is what you're most likely going to be looking at, and submit via the online submission center. This is what you're going to be looking for, and then you click start your submission. And then you decide which cards you're going to submit here. So you can submit regular or small-sized cards. This is normally what you're going to be clicking on, this regular or small-sized cards, and this is, of course, only if you have the PSA membership. I suppose you can do this without a membership, but it's going to be very expensive. $18 per card is what you're going to be looking at. Next, you're going to select the submission type. You have grading, which is normally what you're going to be doing if you're submitting raw cards. You also have review, which is where you submit PSA graded cards that you believe should get a higher grade, and PSA will review the cards in the holder and determine whether or not to raise the grade, and if they do, then they take care of all of that for you. Crossover, which is where you're submitting a card graded by a different grading company to be graded by PSA. For example, if you have a BGS graded card and you'd like it to be graded by PSA, you submit under this submission type. And reholder is if you have old cards graded by PSA. The holders might be scratched. It just might not fit with your collection. If you have, there are old style PSA cases which were thin, and if you have those, then you might want to get them put in the new thicker PSA slabs. And you can submit multiple orders, so I can submit a grading order and a crossover order in the same package. I just have to fill out different submission forms, and you also have to pay different return shipping on all of these. So for example, once you click on grading, Normally, if you're submitting Pokemon cards, you're going to be going with no autograph authentication. However, I am trying to make this a sort of catch-all video for trading cards. So if your cards do have autographs, you can determine here autograph authentication without card grade and autograph authentication with card grade. And those are pretty self-explanatory. And if you have a Collectors Club voucher, if you've purchased that membership, you click that here and it tells you, and you can select either a 6 or 15 item Collectors Club voucher. As soon as you purchase your membership, you can enter all of this into the online submission center. You'll get an email with a voucher code, and that will automatically be entered. I believe you have to enter. I think you do have to enter it, or they'll give you like something, a pin to access the online submission center, and it'll give you your cards for free, or at least up to 15 of them, or 6 depending on which one that you have purchased. So, and now you have to select the service level right here and the max declared value per item right here. So this is sort of like if you have a card that is over $500, it has to be submitted at this express value. If you value the card over 500, has to be submitted at express. If it's over 2,000, has to be submitted at super express. If it's over 5,000, has to be submitted at walkthrough. And if it's over 10,000, which is basically only if you're submitting a Pikachu Illustrator, then you'll have to submit it here. Or premium, not applicable. There's no declared value, and these are both same business day, and the turnaround time goes with that. Now, this is also, it doesn't have to be valued between $2,000 and $5,000. For example, if you want to submit it super express, or that's just a 2 business day turnaround time. So if you wanted it insanely fast, that's how you do it. Then you also have these collectors. You have bulk down here, and these are $99 per card is the max declared value, and a 10 card minimum you get $10 per card, a 50 card minimum you get $8 per card, and a 100 card minimum you get $7 per card. These are standardized bulk specials. They're always available, so you're always going to be able to get 10 cards for $10 per card from PSA, and these are not these. And then there are Collectors Club specials. These vary every month. This is what you're going to be getting access to. For example, this Collectors Club special number 1, you have to use the online submission center. Whoops. And you have to have a 25 card minimum, but then you get $6 per card. And then there are a bunch of things down here. It has to be from 1956 to present, valued under $100 each. Sport and non-sport cards for Collectors Club members only. Turnaround time approximately 50 business days / varies with demand. So for example, let's click this. And now you are at the item entry page, and this is where you're going to be doing a large amount of the work in your PSA submission. So first off, you're going to enter the quantity of the card, which is very simple, just how many you're submitting. Very self-explanatory there. If you're submitting 1 copy of a card, then you click 1. If you're submitting 2 copies of a card, you click 2, or something like that. So I'm going to fill this out as if I was submitting the cards that I'm going to be submitting soon. So the first one on my list of cards to submit is a Rayquaza Gold Star in Japanese. First thing you're going to want to put in is the year. For example, it's 2004 for that. And then you're going to want to put in the card brand name. So for this, I'm going to put in Pokemon Japanese. If you're submitting English Pokemon cards, you do not need to specify that it is English. However, if you're submitting any other language, you have to specify the language. Just a quick note that PSA will only grade foreign base set languages. Anything else beyond base set, PSA does not grade. Then you're going to put in the set name for Japanese. The only set name that they do not take as the English set name is, or the only set name that is the English set name is Dragon Frontiers, as furthest ends of offense and defense would be a little bit of a hard thing to fit on a PSA label. So the Japanese set names, you can find them on Bulbapedia and stuff. For example, for the Rayquaza Gold Star, it would be Clash of the Blue Sky. Now we wait, and it gives you a list here of the cards that you're looking at. So I'm going to type in, whoops, everything's, my caps lock is crazy. So I'm going to type in Clash of the Blue Sky, and then you're going to type in the card number. For this it is 67, and there you go, 67 Rayquaza Holo Gold Star. Once you get to the number, it'll be this. The first couple things here will have it for you. So mine is unlimited. It's not first edition, so we'll click on this, and now this is the full card name right here. And this is what's going to make PSA's job a lot easier. And this is hopefully what's also going to get your cards turned around quicker. Next up, you can enter a minimum grade. Now this is just a little note to PSA that says if my card scores, for example, under a 9, so the minimum, it says it here, the minimum grade is the lowest grade that you are willing to accept from PSA. For raw ungraded items, selecting a minimum grade is optional. If your item does not meet or exceed the minimum grade, it will not be placed in a holder and will be returned to you ungraded, but you will still be charged the full grading fee. For crossover service, you are required to select a minimum grade. PSA will grade your item in the existing holder and will only remove it and encapsulate it in a PSA holder if your item meets or exceeds the minimum grade. If your item does not meet the minimum grade, is returned to you in the original holder, you will still be charged the full grading fee. So for example, if I said, okay, if this card doesn't get a 9, I really don't want it in a PSA holder, I'll just take it ungraded. This is what you can click for that. And then you're also going to need to enter a declared value. So for this, I'd probably declare the value at $100. And then you click Save, and there you go. You can also click No Qualifiers here, which it's qualified grades. You have OC, ST, PD, OF, MK, and MC. Basically, the ones you're going to be looking at with Pokemon cards are, whoops, OC and MC, off-center and miscut, and maybe occasionally PD, printing defect. Yeah, and if you click No Qualifiers, then like it says up here, your card is determined to have a qualifier. Your card will be graded with a lower straight grade. For example, what would qualify as an 8 OC might be graded as a straight 6. So something like that. So you can click that, and then you can fill in all the cards here until you're ready to go. And then you're going to go to shipping and billing. I don't believe I can go there now because I don't have the exact number of cards, but it's just very simple. It's just you simply PSA telling you how much they want from you, and then you're also going to get a total. It'll tell you how much money PSA wants in return shipping fees, which are usually fairly expensive. And all of that stuff, and then you will finalize your submission, and you click submit. This does not submit your submission though. PSA will only accept your submission once it's mailed to them, and for mailing cards to PSA, I usually use priority mail flat rate boxes. Very simple. You just package the cards up in bubble wrap and even throw them in maybe even a smaller box if you're looking for a medium flat rate box. But usually a small flat rate box does it for me. I usually add about $500 worth of insurance on it, which usually brings the label total up to about $15. So $15 to ship to PSA, and that covers insurance as well. So there you go, guys. This is how to submit to PSA, both how to prepare your cards and how to enter the cards online. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will try my best to get back to you with all of the answers. So thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos.